Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I've got a little PowerPoint that I'll share with you, because what I thought I'd help you to do today is mainly become a sugar detective. So I do run a course called a free course on my website, How to Become a Sugar Detective, which you can tap into, but I'll run through the gist of it today. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm hoping that you can see that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so slideshow. Oops. Yeah, so as you can see, my before picture and my after picture. So before was when I was completely felt like I was addicted to sugar. It was one of those comfort foods that I was finding myself completely, you know, difficult to let go of. And then the after picture is when I really got a hold of myself and completely transformed everything, but I'm going to explain that more later. So when I typically get clients coming to me, it's because they're struggling with something like this. Either they feel like they're constantly craving sugar, they're having low energy, fatigue, struggling to sleep, they've got weight gain, worried that they're aging quickly, maybe suffering from brain fog, you know, depression, low mood. Lots of people come to me with gut issues, digestive issues, and hormonal issues. So if you can relate to any of these, generally I always say, well, how's your diet? What are you eating? Because we know that many people will go to the doctors with these kind of complaints about their health and come away with a pharmaceutical drug, which is not really getting to the root of the problem, is it? So that's why I really, you know, are passionate about getting people to really look at what they're eating, because we know that that's wrapped up in everything, isn't it? It's our fuel source. And if we've got that wrong, then it's obviously going to not be allowing us to thrive. And we know that lots of people who are really kind of feeling that they're struggling with their self-belief, their self-worth, you know, this is all coming from diet as well. So, but lots of people know that, but they still secretly eat it. And it's as if they, I don't know, I was the same. It was like I knew that my diet wasn't serving me well, but I just couldn't seem to stop eating it. And I became a secret eater. I was a massive emotional eater. And so that's what we're going to look at today. So ideally today, what I'm wanting you to come away with is knowing where sugar is hidden in your food, and that you can become that sugar detective, and that you can start to take back control of what you are choosing to eat or choosing to buy at the supermarket. And also helping you to realize that, you know, we can take back control without having to rely on our willpower, without having to really kind of struggle each day and feel like we're denying ourselves. And we know that, you know, in our present modern technology days, where everything, push of a button, everything, so, you know, made life easier, as human beings, we think that we'd be thriving, but we just know that we're not. We're going in the opposite direction, aren't we? Everything seems to be, and especially in this last 12 months, we know that we're definitely not thriving as a human race. And our diet and our food that's available to us is so toxic, and it's not really fit for human consumption, is it? So, you know, I went into the shop yesterday, the Spar shop near where my daughter lived, and I was just looking on every single aisle. It's just cardboard boxes, bottles, brightly coloured packages, and just everything is like food, but not real food, is it? It's like chemicals and things in there to give it a longer shelf life, and it's packed with sugar. And all this is leading us to have health problems, isn't it? Like Liz is saying, you know, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, heart disease, cancer, stroke, etc. We all know people who are struggling with that in our families and our friends, or even ourselves. So what can we do about it? And why am I passionate about talking about this subject? I've been talking about sugar for so long now, and it all came from my own personal story. So when I was younger, excuse me, got a frog in my throat. I was super fit, always athletic, and never felt like I would ever put weight on. Everyone used to say to me, "Oh, you're one of those lucky ones. You've just got that right physique." But I then got married, and I chose what I suppose I didn't choose very well. I chose somebody who was the life and soul of the party, but had a drink problem and had anger issues. And before you know it, I discovered he was a narcissistic character. And so I was in this, that toxic relationship where it was very violent, very chaotic. And I never knew from one day to the next what I was going to wake up to and how it was going to, impact me on that day. And so the only control I had at the time, where I felt I had time, was choosing what to eat. And so I would just lose myself in that comfort of the food because it did make me feel slightly better at that time. But what I teach my clients now is like really reaching out to hide our emotions and not deal with our emotions is like fixing, the kitchen when really we're supposed to be fixing the hole on the roof. And I was not addressing the issues that were going on in my life. And instead, I would just sink into that chocolate bars every single day. And every day I'd wake up thinking, I'm not going to do that today. But by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that urge was so strong. And I would just be driving to the garage to go and get another chocolate bar or whatever it was I was going to eat that day. And I just was not able to get back in control of it. And then we all know that life has twists and change. And my huge catalyst for change was when, unfortunately, my dad suddenly died. And it was the first person I'd lost who I was really close to, and, first real death in the family. And, but it was something that completely woke me up. And it made me realize that we do only have one life, and that I needed to completely change mine. And that's where I find the confidence to go and ask for help. And I went to the Women's Refuge, managed to escape that marriage, and moved back up north to support my mum. And it was kind of that catalyst. I decided that I was going to change everything. And at the time, I was a primary school teacher, and I'd been doing that for donkey's years. But suddenly becoming a single mum and having all the stresses of being a teacher, it's not an easy job. And I didn't realize I needed to change that as well. But my passion was I really wanted to lose weight. And so I set on this track of wanting to kind of shift my relationship with food, to heal my relationship with food. And I find it quite easy then to let go of the sugar. It was as if I'd got to the bottom of the bottom and I just cut it out. And within 2 or 3 weeks, my IBS started to clear, all my skin started to heal, I started to lose weight, and I just started to rediscover what energy was like again. And I just knew it's because I was getting rid of these toxic products and I was cutting out the sugar. And I became so passionate about sharing this story and sharing how it completely changed my life. And that became passionate again about nutrition, which I had been before I got married. But that was it. I kind of started to go down that journey of really wanting to learn and get better. And so I did all lots of qualifications in nutrition and shifted away from that teaching job. And it was me out in, my little local environment, started to do truth about sugar workshops, started to blog about it. This is way before, the Davina McCall days and all those kind of days where people started talking about sugar. And I was noticed by the Cabinet Office and was asked to go down and advise them about sugar, which to me was just absolute such a confidence boost from coming out of this toxic relationship where I felt so tiny, so small, lost all my confidence, to suddenly a few years later being at the cabinet office telling them about sugar and how I thought that they should tackle the obesity problem in the UK. They did not follow my advice, because they went down the road of sugar tax, which wasn't what I would have hoped for. What I was hoping that they would do is, like really lower tax on fruit and vegetables, and to get cooking classes throughout the land to help people to get really passionate about cooking from scratch again in the kitchen. But obviously that didn't work out that way. And but it was just such a huge boost for me. And so I just gave up my teaching job and knew that this is what I wanted to do full time. But we know that, don't we, that life, as I say, is a roller coaster. And I thought I'd healed my emotion connection with food. But unfortunately, my mum got run over in 2017 and unfortunately died through the complications. And it just sent me right back into that emotional connection with food, where I was eating in secret, maybe doing a talk in the afternoon about sugar, and then secretly going and eating a whole stash of biscuits. And I just realized that I can't do this anymore. I'm not aligned to my message. So I kind of stepped away from talking about sugar, went down a whole different path, and that's where I met Rob and Liz, where I became back into Life Vantage and things like that, which were all still connected with health, but I'd removed myself away from the sugar. And then it was just like somebody asked me to speak about sugar a couple of years back, and I spoke about it. It just reconnected me all. And by then I'd done so much work on myself with hypnotherapy and everything. And I realized that no, it was my passion, and I got back into it, and I love helping people now. So yeah, so how detrimental is sugar on the body? Well, I think what we've mentioned all before about the side effects, we know that sugar does, it's one of those toxic ingredients which seems to have filtered into our life, which we find acceptable, don't we? We have it for birthday parties, we have it for celebrations. I'm sure yesterday, Easter Sunday, everybody eating their chocolate Easter eggs. It's just there, isn't it? Whereas if we had cocaine in every household, or we had alcohol in every household, we'd know that it was something that was harming us, and we do something about it. But sugar just seems to have filtered its way in everywhere, and it's so hugely connected with the obesity epidemic, the disease, the ill health, really, making our immune system really struggle, which obviously we really need in these days. So, and lots of people becoming insulin resistant. And all these, I don't know if you can see it from your screens, but hormone imbalances really making you crave more for sugar, because the more sugar you've got in your system, the more you're going to crave for sugar. And that constant fatigue and just not feeling right, and low thyroid issues, all there. So how can you become a sugar detective? And because we know that sugar is in these kind of products, don't we? We know that it's in your fizzy drinks. We know it's in, like really high sugary cereals. But do we really know how much sugar is there? And the food industry are very good at, manipulating the whole advice that we see. The marketing messages, the food labeling system is so misleading. So they're allowed to split the words for sugar. So instead of just saying, oh, there's sugar in this and it's, 50% sugar or whatever, if they can split the names for sugar, and somebody is aware that the first name on the ingredient list is the main ingredient, there's more of that ingredient than anything in that product, and it was sugar at the top, most people would think, right, I'm not having that, and put it back. But because they can split the sugars, people might look and think, oh, sugar doesn't come till about the 7th ingredient, so it must not be high in sugar. So these kind of words, if it ends in OSE, an O's word, most people could think, oh, I know that's a sugary word. So maltose, sucrose, dextrose, fructose, lactose tend to mean that it's connected to the sugar family. But they have so many words. There's about 92 different words, and there might even be more than that. There's 92 I'm aware of what means sugar. And I can send you a sheet with 56 of them on, which I've labelled. But here you are, you've got things like dietase, or you've got turbinado. And so if somebody's looking at the food labelling system and they're trying to find, does this have a lot of sugar in it? And instead you're seeing things like turbinado, you're seeing, you know, malt syrup or something like that, instead of just the word sugar, then you can see how it can kind of mislead people. And so here I've got the Crunchy Nut cereal, which I know is a popular cereal in the UK. And I just wanted to highlight here something that they'd done. So the first ingredient was maize, which probably isn't the best ingredient anyway. And then it was sugar, then peanuts, barley malt flavouring, molasses, honey and salt. So all the red words are sugary words. So if we were to put them together, obviously it would surely, maybe, probably the main ingredient. And so how much sugar is in the item? Well, if you're looking and you see, if you're trying to work out what a teaspoon of sugar is, a teaspoon is equal to about 4 grams of sugar. It's slightly 4.16, but let's just say it's 4 grams. So if your product is saying it's got 16 grams of sugar in it, we need to divide it by 4 to work out how many teaspoons that is. And so in your Crunchy Nut cereal, what it's saying is a serving size is 30 grams. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But 30 gram serving is saying it's got carbohydrate, of which is sugar, is 11 grams. So if you divide that by 4, it's showing that's 2.75 teaspoons of sugar in 30 grams. But we know we're not eating 30 grams because I've measured them out here for you. So the small bowl, and on this picture you might not be able to really tell, but that small bowl, the cereal is just touching the bottom of the bowl. And so we know people are not eating a 30 gram serving. So the food industry, or the Kellogg's, is trying to make out that their breakfast is only 2 3/4 teaspoons of sugar. But we know that people are at least having double of that, which would work out at 5.5 teaspoons of sugar. But the majority of people, I'm sure, are filling their bowl up. And here I've put an 80 gram serving size is 7.25 teaspoons of sugar. And some people might even do 90 grams and get rid of the whole bowl. So if you think that's 2, 4, 6, we're going on nearly 8 teaspoons of sugar in one bowl of sugary cereal. And that's before we've even added the milk, or we've added the, you know, the cup of tea with the teaspoon of sugar or whatever. And so you can see that even in the breakfast, somebody has gone way over the typical serving size, which we're recommended that as an adult, women, we are only supposed to be having between 6 and 7 teaspoons of sugar, and men, they're allowed about 8 to 9 teaspoons of sugar in the whole day. And so you can see just in one breakfast, you've blown it, gone way beyond it. And so what I usually say to people is, well, what do you think you're having each day? If you were to really think of yesterday as a typical day, and you thought about your breakfast, your snacks, your lunch, maybe an afternoon snack, maybe your evening meal, and did you have anything in the evening? If you were to start to count up and work out by looking at the labelling system and working out the teaspoons of sugar, what do you think it would be? Would you be below that 7 teaspoons of sugar? Or would you be going way higher than that? And most women, or I tend to work a lot with women, I do have some men, they kind of work out about 25 to 30 teaspoons of sugar. But when I work in colleges and schools and I work with teenagers, they're tending to come out like 90 teaspoons of sugar. Because if you think one of those monster drinks that they're drinking, it's 14 teaspoons of sugar just in that one drink. And so, and then they're having the sweets, and then they're having whatever they're having throughout the day. And so they're on that railroad of definite problems about to develop in the future, aren't they? And I can't understand why these ingredients are allowed to happen. You know, they're so toxic to the body. But this is a good little fun app that you can use. It's called the Sugar Smart app, and it's from Change for Life. It's got some limitations, but it's fun if you want to work it with, especially with children, because all you need to do is scan the barcode and it will drop in the teaspoon. That it's like a sugar cube that drops in. And that's fine if it kind of works out, you know, somebody's kind of just scanning, but they're not really working out their portion sizes. And it does have some things that I don't like about this, because especially if somebody scans a Diet Coke or a diet product, then obviously it shows no sugar. But we know that that's a huge problem in itself. So what about sugar-free? Well, say for example, the Diet Coke or a diet drink, it's got a really toxic ingredient in it called aspartame. And it's really connected to cancer, neurological disorders, Parkinson's disease, which my dad unfortunately died from, all these kind of diseases that are connected to that artificial sweetener. And all these kind of things, which we know so many people are struggling with fibromyalgia. You know, I hadn't even heard of the word about 12 years ago, and now everybody seems to have fibromyalgia. And, you know, but brain cancer, brain tumors, arthritis, all these kind of things coming from somebody having that poison substance in their system. And the food industry know that we're looking for that word as well. So again, they're allowed to disguise it. They're allowed to use a code instead. So they can use their code E951 to be a replacement from putting the word aspartame. Or they can use amino sweet. And so if you're looking and you're quite aware and you're looking on these products and you see that, just be aware that it's aspartame. And obviously there's lots of different alternative sweeteners, some worse than others. So if you're looking for the more natural one, you're going to be looking more for the stevia leaf, something that's coming like from a leaf, it's natural. But again, we know that in this world where people are trying to kind of know that people are looking for that, you might find a product and it might not be as clean as you are hoping. So just be aware of that. So what I do is I run groups called Tame Your Sugar Monster, because we know that, like I said, even if you know all this about sugar, but if you still have that urge to eat it, it's something that you can't just easily drop, then I help people to really address their emotional attachment to food, healing that relationship, but also, you know, by working with your biology, we can make it so that your body doesn't crave the sugar as much. So really addressing that. So I do have a free Facebook group called Tame Your Sugar Monster. This is the picture on the header. And so you're welcome to come and join that free group. And where is it? Every Wednesday at 11 AM, I do a free Zoom call where you can come on and you can ask me any questions, or, you know, I'll be teaching something about a relationship with food or sugar or whatever. And so you can join on that day and come and join me. So I'll stop sharing. Okay, Liz.
So can we ask questions now, Joe?
Of course, of course.
Yeah. So my initial question is, how do you feel about the difference between refined sugars and naturally occurring sugars? Obviously you get like a carbohydrate content for a food stuff. It will say of that however much of it sugars, so that basically is like an equivalent of refined sugar, isn't it? But then that's completely different. If you get something like Coca-Cola, all of the sugar in that is refined into it. Yeah. Whereas fruits and stuff like that have sugars that are, yeah. Anyway, I'll let you know where I'm coming from. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, we know that, you know, there's a wide range from high sugared fruits and lower sugared fruits. So what I try and get people to really look at is the glycemic index, so that you can go on there and you think, oh, berries are lower on the glycemic index, so yeah, I'll kind of eat more of those kind of fruits than having something that's really spiking my sugar. And bananas, you know, fortunately, are quite high in spiking your sugar. And so when people work with me, we try all sorts of things. So my first thing is to really get them to think of when they're eating. So when you're eating is a real trigger for also, you know, getting you to kind of crave more and eat more and not having that kind of routine. So I help people with intermittent fasting, because to me that really kind of starts straight away to start lowering your blood sugar levels and keeping them in control. So and then obviously we're starting to think about what kind of foods we're putting in, which might spike our body to produce more insulin. And if it does produce more insulin, that's where you're kind of having the crashes. And then that leads you to start wanting to crave food again. So yeah, so your natural occurring sugars, we still got to kind of keep an eye on how they spike your blood sugar levels.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Michelle in the background, who's you can unmute yourself, Michelle.
I know. I've popped upstairs actually. I just find this whole subject fascinating, because we've just been doing a lot of research on this in like the last sort of, I don't know, 6 months. I think we watched a documentary first, one of the Netflix food documentaries, and we were kind of like, oh, okay. And you know, my husband is sort of a bit of he's got quite a sugar craving, you know, he's got a sweet tooth and he's got a bit of a sugar thing. And so, you know, we've got one of those, you know, testers, test our blood levels and stuff. And he, you know, he's kind of on the verge of, we realized he was on the verge of type 2 if he didn't start managing it. So he's been making loads of food changes. And we like you say, he's been, I mean, he's cut out, I mean, it's the last thing, he tried to cut out all sorts of things first before we cut out like cookies and stuff. Like he cut out meat first, and then he started trying to do low carb, and he started doing all these things. And then in the end he went, you know what, let me just get rid of all like the cookies and candy and all that
the stuff. Obvious sugars,
yeah. And then we've just been trying to, like you say, read labels a bit more. And it's just that feeling disheartened with the whole industry, though. Like he comes back from the grocery store and he's just like, God, it's so hard. Like they just make it so hard.
They make it really hard. And the food labeling system, where, you know, it's so deceiving, where it says, you know, organic, blah 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 blah, or it'll say fortified with vitamins and only, I don't know, only 5% fat or whatever they've put in on it.
Yeah.
It is, when they're trying to convince you to have it for a health reason, that's when I get really suspicious.
I know.
So basically, my main advice to you is don't drink the sugar, because that
Yeah.
sugar comes in really fast. And it's, when you're thinking you're trying to keep your insulin levels quite in check, your blood sugar levels quite even, drinking sugar is where it's that, like a jet fuel has just been put into the human body,
Yeah.
and your body's going, ah, and so straight away it comes in with the insulin, takes it all, puts it into your fat cells, and then you have a lump, and then your body's going, oh, I need sugar now, I need sugar. And so it's this constant roller coaster that you stepped on. And the other thing is
oh, sorry, go on. No, go on.
the other thing is, don't have low fat products. Low fat products.
Yeah, we sort of realized that. We sort of we'd gone through various phases of that kind of thing, and then we'd sort of, Alex has gone back, because you know we started doing like spreads and stuff as well, and now Alex has gone back to buying butter, and he's bought us a butter dish, and he's like trying to do all that stuff. But what's your view on carbs though? Because like he's sort of started this whole thing about like, you know, trying to limit bread and pasta and things like that, and we've tried a little bit of, we've actually got some like chickpea pasta and some lentil pasta and things, and we're trying to sort of like mix it up, but I do still eat quite a lot of bread, honestly.
Bread to me is my downfall, so I just don't buy it. My bread is what I, you know, like if I was to go down a slippery slope, it's bread. It's not chocolate, it's bread. But it's just packed with sugar, and that's why my body likes it. Well, my body doesn't like it, because my body has a real reaction to bread.
Yeah.
So, but I'm a really big believer in low carb. So yeah.
See, that's kind of where Alex was sort of going with that as well, because we'd got in the habit of, I just had 2 rounds of toast, by the way, and Alex got in the habit of having, like, he was having bagels or croissants every morning before work, and so like he's starting to cut all those out.
Just like really high sugary start to your day. You've stepped on that roller coaster, and once you've stepped on it, your hormones and your biology are so much stronger than your willpower. And so you can't, your willpower is kind of weak compared to you going, right, I'm not going to eat sugar today. And when your hormones have crashed and saying, you've got to eat.
Yeah.
And when you think all the time, your body's trying to get you to nourish it. And so if your body's lacking in some nourishment, your body will tell you to eat again, because it's after that nourishment. But if instead you just give it a bagel, or you give it some sugary low fat thing, your body's like, oh, that's not what I wanted. Eat again.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's interesting because like for him, like he used to sort of have a bagel or something before he went to work, and then he'd, not long after, as soon as first break, he'd pile more food in. And then he started, like you said about fasting, I was going to ask about that. He's been doing loads of research and started doing fasting. Now, whether this is the right thing to do or not, and I get your take on it, he started like replacing breakfast, like he'll have a coffee now, and he's found that with coffee he can bypass his food cravings, and he'll have a coffee now in the morning, and he'll go to work and he'll be fine and have one coffee in his break, and he pretty much then won't eat until like late afternoon or evening. And I mean, I know it's a bit of a taboo subject sometimes, isn't it, saying I'll replace meals with like a caffeine drink or whatever, but I actually know other people that have done that as well.
I've never, not because of a health reason, I just do not do coffee or tea, because
I
like to. It's just
okay, yeah.
It's not because of a health reason. So when I do intermittent fasting, I try and get my clients to finish eating 3 hours before bed.
Yeah.
So you say, for example, you finish at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then ideally, the golden hour really is 16 hours later you eat again. So you've got an 8-hour window, 16 hours without
I've heard of 8-16.
But if you can't do that, you know, if you think you've stopped eating at 8 and you start again at 8 in the morning, that's 12 hours you've gone without food.
Yeah.
And then you just nudge it back a bit, think, well, this time I'm going to be 13 hours without food.
Yeah.
And because we know if breakfast is the meal that people are getting kind of wrong, because it's a sugary start, our typical British breakfasts are quite sugary, then we're avoiding stepping on that roller coaster, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And we tend to make wiser decisions at lunchtime. So you kind of, my clients tend to start eating about 11, 10, 11, 12, you know, depending how many hours have gone in between. And but everyone find it quite easy, didn't they, Liz, to admit that it just,
really. It's funny how so much of it is habit, right? Like I have this thing, like get up, okay, have breakfast. I don't actually check in with my body and myself if I'm that hungry or like what's going on. I just like, you know, go, oh well, it's breakfast, I'll just go and, you know, make my toast or make my whatever. And
that's it, because what we're trying to get you to do is tune in to your body. Am I really hungry? And if you did eat, how did my body respond to that? How's my emotions feeling? What was it, the trigger for me eating? To just slow down and just think, I'm eating right now. Is it because I'm hungry or just because of habit? Or am I eating a response to an emotion? Was it because somebody's upset me or somebody's made me feel unworthy or whatever it is? And you're triggering that reaction to food. So yeah, and the, you know, that slogan, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, that came from Kellogg's.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. So if Kellogg's marketing has got everybody brainwashed, just like we got brainwashed into low fat is the way to go. We went through years of going low fat. And buying, I can remember going and doing Rosemary Connolly, and she said we can't eat anything over 5 grams of fat. And I'd look at the food label, oh, I've got 6 grams, I can't eat that. Never ever thought to look at the sugar content, because we wasn't trained to do that. And what happened is, like, obesity went up, diabetes shot up, and, you know, all these kind of diseases that came in. And really, because they took the fat out, the fat was what keeps us healthy. And we got told not to eat avocados.
Oh, I know the avocado thing. I always, I love avocados.
Now, every day, my dad got something called PSP, which is progressive supragranular palsy. It comes under the umbrella of Parkinson's, but it's so much worse. And it turns off the brain. And so my prevention is to make sure that I look after my brain. So to me, avocados is that healthy fats that my brain needs. And so we went through that whole decades, didn't we, of not eating those kind of foods. And so now it's like, and lots of people are realizing now, but when you go to the supermarket and you still look at the yogurt section, majority of yogurts are celebrating that they're low fat. And all I'm saying to people is, choose the fat, go for the fat one, don't go for those low fat products. So, and don't fear the fat. We've been trained so long to fear eating fats. So I just say, no, celebrate you're eating the fat. Give your body what it needs. It fills you up. It makes you feel nourished. It tastes bloody good. And then what we're doing is lowering the carbs. And so some of my clients go on keto. And that's a controversial one in itself. People lose weight, they feel better, they've got their emotional cravings for food, and you know, that cravings go down and your blood sugar levels come lower and in line. So we, you know, it's not for everyone. I don't know.
That's like Alex's cut out bread, but he started frying bacon in the morning now. And I've sort of stopped eating meat mostly. So I'm like, stop frying bacon. I don't want to smell it.
Yeah, and then obviously you've got your processed meats, so we don't really want to go down there.
No, exactly. It's like,
meats, but
fascinating. Just love this topic.
I'll come on to my free group. I'm going to come on at 11 o'clock on Wednesday, and you can talk to me more about it.
That is the problem. What we're left with now, you know.
But that's it, because it's so tasty. Having putting those fats back into your diet, you suddenly realise, you know, people say, oh, keto's really strict and really you're missing out on this and missing that and that. I don't find that. I find, you know, I go on and think, God, I can eat this. I can eat that. And I feel like I'm having a trifle. I feel like I'm having something really naughty. Because my go-to afternoon snack is full fat yogurt with some chopped up honeydew melon, some raspberries, big dollop. You could even put a big dollop of cream on if you want. And then you just sprinkle it with chia seeds, cacao nibs, you know, something. And I've put it in a Knickerbocker Glory glass. And I'm sitting there thinking, this tastes gorgeous. And I don't feel deprived at all. And I'd much rather that than sit there with a chocolate bar. With yesterday being Easter Sunday, my children, you know, like Easter eggs. And I just pinched a bit of the chocolate and I just put it in my mouth, and it's just like, and it all kind of melted at the top of my mouth, didn't it? And I thought, I don't really like it.
Yeah, I'm definitely not quite there yet. I ate my limp bunny yesterday. And
You know, so I'm saying, you know, if you had it, we're not saying that you can never have it.
Yeah.
But and that's my whole thing. Taming Sugar Monster is not saying you can never have sugar. It's you getting back in control, you making the choices.
Actually, I've started no chocolate or crisps days, like on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because it helps me kind of check in with myself on how much I'm reaching for that stuff, and know that if I can have it that day, I can. Yeah.
Days, just make sure you maybe take a note in your diary of what was your energy levels like that day. Were they better? Were you thinking straighter? Were you more emotionally level? Because that's what people start to notice, you know, because I've just run a 30-day Tame Sugar Monster, and, you know, everybody in the group was saying, I can't believe it, I'm not craving sugar. It's finding it quite easy, losing weight. Loads of them have lost loads of weight. And it's just by simply taking that food out, which is the trigger.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I'm saying it's simply, but it's, you know, it sounds simple, but we know that, you know, so what I use is a lot of hypnotherapy to help people to really adjust their whole kind of subconscious programming that we've got towards food.
Yeah, looks like my time's up now, but I'll go back to mute for a bit, but love it. Just a fascinating subject. Really, really do love it. So
yeah, well, we'll connect on Facebook and then come on to the group.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Yeah.
Has anybody else got any questions?
I've got a question. Let me just find it from Sophie. 1 second. Right. She says, with sugar, my weakness is honey and dark chocolate. I love Greek yogurt with honey for breakfast and enjoy a piece of dark chocolate after my meal. Also, I have 2 young kids who love sweets. Any advice? Now, I'd say a breakfast sounds pretty healthy, really. Maybe cut back on the honey.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Instead of maybe, it depends how much honey she's having, but to me it sounds pretty healthy. But a dark chocolate, you know, making sure that it's really, really bittery chocolate. It's got so much less sugar in it than the milk chocolate. And but she's only saying she's having 1 cube, not the end of the world.
I'm just trying to think about the honey side of things. I'd seen something recently, but I can't remember where it was, about the difference between sort of raw honey and the processed honey that we get in the shops. So again, there's maybe a consideration and some research to be done around that.
Yeah, because your body, you know, because people say, oh, I'm having this instead of refined sugar or whatever, but your body doesn't understand the difference between honey and refined sugar. It still turns into glucose in the body. So it's just you know, being aware of that as well, isn't it? Because your body doesn't think, oh, this is the healthy sugar. It's still sugar. Yeah.
But I guess there's maybe an analogy alongside like table salt and you know,
Himalayan salt, yeah.
Yeah, it's the content that comes with it. You know, when something's been purified and refined to a
refined process,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always tend to avoid white things, so white sugar, white flour.
If it's white, it's shite.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. But when I think it was Michelle, wasn't it? She was saying that she was putting in chickpea pasta instead and that kind of stuff. To me, you know, you can courgette noodles is so much better because like it's not coming from any processed product then, is it? It's like you're just using a vegetable sauce as a pasta and it gives you exactly the same texture. I like it. And cauliflower pizzas instead of, you know, you can make adaptations. So if you feel like, oh, can I never have a pizza? You can. And I prefer them.
I've yet to try that, Joe. I once made cauliflower rice and it tasted so yuck. I've not gone.
What did you put in it?
Oh, it's so long since that I can't remember, but it was just yuck. But some of the recipes that have been shared or some of the pictures of cauliflower rice and I really
it's so quick as well when you think you've got a food processor and you just go with your cauliflower and it's grinded it instantly and you only cook it for a few seconds, you know, not even over a minute, and it's quick. It gives you the texture. It gives you, if somebody's used to having like a kind of carbohydrate source with their meal, it's a really quick, easy substitute, and you can make it flavour whatever you want it to be flavoured like.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, when I started the Tame Your Sugar Monster, I was like, well, my diet's not that bad. I guess I'd had a little bit of a phase of binge eating the chocolate Wheatos that my daughter brought into the house. Not every day, but every now and then. Yeah, and as you say, yeah, it wasn't just a little covering at the bottom of the bowl, it was the full bowl.
And then I kept finding chocolate wrappers in a car as well.
Secret eater.
Yeah, but that wasn't that often. But potatoes, we've got into the habit of having potatoes most days. So I can't say we've cut potatoes out of the diet.
It's certainly reduced.
Definitely reduced them. We're maybe only having them once or twice a week. And another biggie was the wine as well, which we've cut back on.
And that can be often a trigger to get you to end up eating something that you resolve not to eat as well, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it relaxes the food filters, doesn't it, in your mind? You know, the control suddenly lapses after a glass or two of wine.
Yeah.
So, but I'm pleased to say as well, I've gone down a clothes size. I bought this top maybe 2 or 3 years ago when we were on holiday, and it's been hung in the wardrobe, and every time I put it on I thought, no, don't feel comfy in it. So my jeans, I'm in the next size down.
Wonderful. That's brilliant.
And I mostly my sugar levels are in a normal bracket. I think the day after having wine they've gone up a little bit, but
that's brilliant. And because I can remember when, you know, people used to say, the doctors would say, oh, you need to be on this medication for life, and it just shows, doesn't it, that just swapping what you're eating can completely change, and you don't need to be on that pharmaceutical drug. You can see Katie nodding her head, Madison.
I was listening to the phone call that you were having with your GP, and they were very resistant to you sort of doing this naturally, trying to modify diet. They didn't want to know that, you should be taking these. Really surprising.
So I am taking the metformin, but I've not doubled it up like they said to do. they said I was to double the tablets up after the first week, and I haven't, and my sugar levels are near enough stable, so I won't be doubling up. Yeah.
And
What about the statins, Liz? Because they prescribe statins as well, don't they? What about them?
we said no chance.
Yeah,
Good,
I said no.
well done.
Good. Yeah.
Well done.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard. It's scary, isn't it? I've been through this so many times with my dad and my partner and people at work, my clients. I'm just about borderline now, and I've decided, you know, stop being lazy. Come on, let's cut the sugar out. Let's start being a little bit more careful about yourself instead of looking after everybody else. I've just been lazy. I've just basically been tired. Plenty of reasons, same as anybody else. Yeah, I don't want to end up in that position. So when I saw you and you said that you'd been diagnosed, and I knew that they were going to put you on statins, and they did. And it's one of the worst things you can take, unfortunately, because once you start taking them, you have to take them for life, because they can cause so many complications after, with blood clots, with TIAs, with just not taking them, you know. So dangerous.
Yeah, my mum was on 2 different types of statins, and she ended up where her fingers were tingling, and the doctor, oh no, we've got to get you off that, and he just stopped one of the statins. But yeah.
No, you can do it with diet. You can do it with diet, and it's not a big shift. It's just changing your way of life. But you do, like Joe says, you do feel healthier. You know, you do feel healthier when you're eating properly. I mean, my dad's life totally changed, and my partner's life totally changed. I mean, he's put weight on again now, but he's going to do it again. You know, we'll do it together. You know, but we need to start doing it forever. You know, it is a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle change, isn't it?
Yes.
No, this is why I don't want to say to people you're going on a diet, because it's not a diet. Sounds short term, and that this is just something you're trying just for now. But if you're making that commitment to yourself and thinking about this is my new way of life, and it just gets better.
Well, I need to do the fasting, and I need to do, because I'm vegetarian, I eat fish now and again, although my niece has just put me off that. She's just watched that documentary that we're on about the fish.
I'll see
the way they're sourced. It really upset her, did that, and so I'm gonna have to watch that now, aren't I? So
or maybe not.
I want to
listen to your body on that one.
Diet.
What do you think, though? Everything in our lives at the moment, there's some interference in some shape or form, isn't there?
Yes.
We live in such a toxic world to everything. The food, the food is one of the massive things that they're obviously making sure that we're polluted by. And it just becomes so hard, isn't it, when you think we're getting these pharmaceuticals drummed down us and the food industry, and so we've just got to be really proactive about looking after ourselves.
Well, I feel like that's me. I'm basically changing my life, because I have lived in that. I've worked with medication for 30 years. I help people, I enable people to take the medication, and I work with some pretty serious chemicals, basically. So I understand the pharmaceutical side of things, but I just need my life to change for good. I'm 52 this year, and I'm nearest being type 2 than I've ever been. In fact, they're chasing me, because I don't want that blood test just yet, because I know I can get the blood down, and basically they've caught me now. I've got to go down and get my blood test, and I'm going to have to do that. But yeah, I've changed everything, and I need an hand with it now. I need to know how to do it for sure, for good, and so that I'm doing the right things, rather than listening to what so-and-so said or what she said. I need to know for sure how to do it. So this keto diet looks interesting, and
Yeah.
definitely the fasting. I can do the fasting, no problem. I don't really eat a lot during the day. I start eating a bit later because I've worked night shift for years, which has ruined my diet,
Mm.
you know.
Can I just chip in, actually? I don't know if people are aware, if you are wanting to find out what your blood sugar levels are like, on Amazon, you can buy one of the little units. They're not very much money, with like 50 test strips or whatever. So that's what we've done. They're so simple to use. So you don't have to wait to go to the doctors to get the surprise of what they're going to come up with. You know, I'd definitely say it's worth spending the money on one anyway.
Yeah, I'll get one of them. I'll get one.
Yeah,
I've
it's
got
on the
about
list.
15 quid in my head, or maybe it was 19.
It's not
or
bad at
something
all,
like-
is it?
No,
And it's
For what you
healthy.
can do that.
I'm on warfarin as well, and I could check myself for warfarin, you know, my vitamin K, if I got the right strips for that.
Okay. That'd be a different unit, I guess, for doing that. But
It would, but it's getting into the thing of doing it yourself.
that's it. Yeah.
I do it for other people, but I never check my own blood.
Uh,
I'm always looking after other people, but I never sort my own out. But yeah, but I'm glad you're feeling better, Liz. You looked, as soon as I saw you, you could tell straight away that you'd lost that little bit of weight, and you just look brighter. Your skin looks great, and your hair. You look happier, yeah. And it's nice to see.
and then just, I guess, supporting in a strange way what Joe's been telling us about. Independently, I'd gone onto a different program starting in December, but they basically the advice I'd been given was exactly the same. I've lost 21 pound in that last however many months since mid-December. So yeah, but I've got the same weaknesses to sugar as well, and yeah, what one chocolate rabbit would lead to another. You know, that kind of stuff. So we just, you know, if we don't have them in the house, it makes it so much easier. So just now,
We're doing it
we don't
together
have
as
them-
well. That
yeah,
makes
that's it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're fortunate that we're both on board with this.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Well, one tip that I've got from Joe, supermarket shopping, I don't go that often, but I've had to go more frequently because of my parents needing to shop for them. And you know, my dad's list is always this cake for my mum, or you know, and it to start with, it was so easy to just drop that pack of cookies, you know, freshly baked cookies that tasted naff really, but I don't know why I bought them, but it was, oh, we'll just treat ourselves to those after tea today. And yeah, so, but I've stopped doing that. And it's like, imagine that you've got a thermometer, and when you go for that product, it goes whoop, and you know,
Yeah,
That-
so
That's
through
fine.
the
Yeah.
hypnosis, that's what I've kind of dripped into Liz's head. So
Yeah.
that basically when she goes and she has this invisible thermometer, which is kind of alerting her to how her body would react when that.
Yeah.
big
But
thing
to be
comes.
honest, since the first few days, I've not been drawn to get in
Brilliant.
those. I do go for the 95% chocolate though.
Yeah.
Well, 95% chocolate's not bad at all, is it?
95%
Yeah.
chocolate.
Well, and
Yeah.
also it's not like you want to eat a lot of it, do you? Because you only want like a one cube, and then you're like, well, I've just satisfied that, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's not something that you're going to sit there and guzzle on.
No,
But
no.
yeah, Katie, I do run regular Tame Sugar Monster. It is changing my format at the moment, but come and join the free group, and you can. And also, I'm doing consultations, 10-minute consultations with people. No sell, just jump on and tell me, and we can have a chat.
So how can we get in touch with you, Joe? Where are your touch points?
Main thing, Facebook. So my name is very unusual. So there's only one Joe Lefebvre. So you'll be able to find me quite easily. And then if you look for Tame Sugar Monster, which is my free Facebook group, you should find it.
And you said you got a website as well?
Yeah, oh yeah, joelefebvre.com. So it's
All right, okay, again,
so
sorry.
yeah, on if you go on my website joelafabo.com, there's a free course you can take on there. It's a mini course. It's how to be a sugar detective. And on there I've got lots of sheets that you just download, which has got 56 names of sugar, showing you how to calculate how much sugar's in your food. So you can download that and get all those free downloads as well.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's been very helpful, as that, Jo. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad it has.
Does anybody else have any questions for Jo?
I do. Yeah, unfortunately, I had to have my gallbladder removed nearly 12 months ago. Because I had gallstones, I was severely ill. And what I have noticed is that I don't feel as I'm eating the right foods. My body will tell me when I should not eat that food. And I was just wondering, do you have any tips or suggestions of the type of foods that would help me more now that I don't have a gallbladder?
That's more of a specific one. Why don't we have it? Just come on and I don't know your last name, Kathleen, because it's not showing me. But if you can find me on Facebook, and just send me a message, and I can we'll have a quick chat about yours. It's a bit more specific, but you're doing the right thing, tuning into your body. This is what I get everybody to do, you know, because so many times we just eat and don't actually even think about how our body's responding to it, do we? But if you're noticing after, oh, I feel bloated, I'm going to open my top button, or whatever it is, then you kind of trace your steps and what did I eat today? What could have been that trigger? Why is it making me react like that? So I just try to get people to have a better relationship with their body, really.
Yeah.
Because it's always trying to talk to you, but we're not very good at listening to it.
No, I do tend to listen to my body a lot, but I have it's not a craving, but I do like my curries, you know, and I do know my body really does not like having the curries. It does actually tell me that. I just wondered if there was a way around it. But anyway, like you say, we can have a more of a chat, more of a one-to-one basis on that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Silence, my phone went ping. So can I just say, going back to my diabetes diagnosis, it was again synchronicity. I had been suffering with thrush, and every time I took the capsules to clear it up, it would come back. So the doctor said, right, booking with the nurse for some swabs. So I had a 7 a.m. appointment at a different GP surgery, and I got there for the swabs. And oh, I'm sorry, we've been trying to contact you, but we couldn't find your phone number. The doctors had it was a Monday morning. No,
Doesn't matter, does it?
Whatever day it was. Anyway, they hadn't got the forms, so they couldn't do the blood test. So I then had to go back, and I got in to see a nurse at my own GP practice, and she said, right, I'm going to break protocol here. I'm going to do a blood test because it's not normal to have repeated thrush. She was only scheduled to do that, and you know, they're not supposed to go outside the box and do more things, but she ran blood tests, and that's how I found out.
It's basically because of the increased sugar in your system that was causing the problem, isn't it?
And also probably a candida overgrowth, because you think you're getting a lot of thrush and everything, that kind of straight away alarm bells for candida, doesn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you think candida is, you know, other bacteria just thriving off sugar and getting you to eat sugar. So that's quite a kind of a tougher one to establish, but we've got to really kind of starve that candida. Yeah.
And then that's where this link between the brain in the gut then links into that, because the candida sends messages saying feed me more sugar, and
Yeah.
then you get increased sugar cravings, and
Yeah.
it becomes a vicious circle.
And that's it, isn't it? That brain guts connection, because so many things, people think that serotonin is created in the brain, but it's actually created in the gut, and then it travels up to the brain. So we've got to just make sure our guts are in such good nick, because if someone's got depression or something, that's an indicator that it's a problem with the gut. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, I hope
This
you
is
have
it's a brilliant topic. There's loads and loads of stuff I want to bring in, but it's starting to go off on a complete tangent from what you're talking about, Joe. So
Yeah.
like I said, it's been very helpful. It's very informative, very interesting.
Thank
Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome to stay. We're going to do, people are going to share their news now. Or review.
Okay. Well, I've got to get out of my scaffolding and start knocking water out.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, rather you than me.
Oh no, I'm not really looking forward to it. See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Jo.
You need
You're,
to take
you're
most-
hosting, yeah. So I don't know if you have to hand the host back to us or.
Yeah, because if I end it, I'll cut you all off, won't I?
Yeah, and you've got the recording as well. We can chat afterwards about how you pass that over to us.
How do I hand it back to you?
I think if you go into the participant list and you
yeah.
find us or me in the top, well, wherever it is on the list.
Yeah, I've done
and
it.
then if you click on more, yeah. That's it, sound.
Cool.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Accent at the moment, and I'm doing the cacao training, which actually
We're down.
really links in, and with all the other training that I've been doing, everything, it has been, the word synchronicity keeps coming up, but it really is definitely synchronicity. I feel very connected to everybody, including yourselves, and it's like waiting. I feel like there's things bubbling, waiting to happen. I'm really excited about it, but I'm quite confident now to be able to just sit back, relax and wait and see. I still feel a little bit unconfident about meeting new clients, and well, it's not so much the meeting, it's going out there and knowing how to do it. But I'll get there.
You will,
I
yeah.
feel like I'm being held by quite a lot of amazing, very kind, genuinely lovely people, and I can't thank Sharon enough, and I can't thank you enough. Obviously, it's just been amazing.
Cool.
So,
well, again, you look over this with Sharon, the where William talks about the 12 heavens, and it's basically the unification consciousness that the Holy Fire helps us to get to grips with, and that's where you get that feeling of connectedness from. It's yeah.
Right.
It's just wonderful.
I definitely feel it.
Yeah, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so needed right now, though, isn't it, Rob? With all this disconnect that we've had, it's so needed. That
It is, yeah.
it was a lovely experience. We kind of all put our arms around each other the whole time, actually, which, you know, metaphorically speaking these days. But you know, it's just a journey, isn't it? As you always say, it's just lovely to have that journey. It's fabulous.
Yeah. Cool.
And it did feel amazing online. It really did, because I felt like, because I was in my own space as well, I could concentrate more.
Yeah.
And I felt very relaxed in the way that Sharon trained me, and it was like very inclusive of other things that I had to do, you know, because I've got children, and I think when you're rushing and you're worrying about things, you don't want that. You don't want to come into that, do you? You know, you want to be in a really good place. And I felt like being online, which is something I've had to learn to do at the same time, don't feel like I'm the same person. And it's only a few weeks ago, well, it is a few weeks ago, but if I think about it, I would never go on camera. I would never go on video. It was, I wasn't a scaredy cat. I just would totally avoid it. just weren't interested.
Yeah.
Because I'm always trying to remove the ego. I'm practicing hedge witch, and I've been working with light and energy for a long time, but now I've got something to actually call it and channel it into, and yeah, it's just amazing. I'm just so pleased that I've had this opportunity, and I never thought I'd be able to do it online, and this is amazing because the energy, it hits you like a ton of bricks, and now it's constant. I can feel it. Even talking to you, it's in a triangle shape, and I feel tingles. It's coming from my head, it's in my throat chakra, it's in my chest, and it's in a good way, but it's coming out through my hands.
Yeah.
And I can feel my hands are really warm and static, and in my knees, I can feel it in my knees as well.
Yeah. I hope you've been doing some testimonials for Sharon.
I will be. I will be.
Yeah.
And she knows what I write like, so it's going to be, and you're getting to know me a bit out, you know. Sometimes I can go really quiet, and there's nothing wrong. I'm just taking it all in, and then sometimes I'm, you know, I can just talk forever.
Yeah, well, I'm like
writing,
that as well, and it's just a case of waiting for the words to be there.
That's
So
right. Sometimes I can't get my words out, but writing, I can write things down, you know, and I'm really looking forward to testimonial time. So yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. And I just, when you were talking there about, you know, you couldn't envisage having done this online and all that kind of stuff, what came to mind was going back, I think it had been December time, a guy that I follow on YouTube for astrology stuff called Roland Legrand. And I started following him last year because he basically nailed 2020, you know, back in 2019. One of the things that he said was that people this year will fall into kind of two groups, and it's down to whether or not we adopt. This is my interpretation and summary of what he was saying, but you know, as we go forwards, we can either adopt the new ways of working, etc., or we can resist them. And if we, you know, basically the people who adopt them are going to flourish. You know, if we move, you know, and adapt. Whereas if we stick, you know, with what we had before and then move forwards, because it like going to the online Reiki training, I was so resistant to that. You know, a year ago, I wouldn't have dreamed about doing it, even though I knew the lockdown was here. And my gut feel then was it wasn't going to be like a couple of weeks thing. I knew it was going to be long term. But no, I'm converted. I'd still prefer to do this in person. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I'd love. I mean, when I got to see Sharon on the Friday, that it was amazing, and the energy between us all was just beautiful. But Sharon had made that, she created that online.
Yes. Yeah.
So you know, you're still kind of disjointed, but we didn't feel like that. And we're all different ages, and we're from different backgrounds, and there's 4 of us, and it's just amazing. And we even had one young lady, she's over in Poland, you know.
Wow.
And it's just been amazing, really, really good. And managing to do it together as well was so special.
Yeah.
Didn't want it to end. It felt like you were in a dream. It was just so good, the energy. And yeah, it just all seemed to flow really well, and everything landed in the right places, and nothing was forced or pushed or manic. You know, it was good, which is what you need when you've got teenagers running around in your house and locked down, and you know, meeting all these people as well. It's been quite a big thing for me, because I'm meeting quite a lot of people and I'm very traditional. I'm very respectful of people that have been there before me. I'm quite formal in a way. I will wait until I'm spoken to. I don't like pushing myself in, and I have to learn to be a bit more out there now. And yeah, being online's a good thing.
Yeah,
it really is.
It was just You know, sometimes when I've done training with you, Rob, as well, the group is just amazing. And it's like that just gels instantly. So it's almost like you ask and it will be, and you don't force it, it just happens. And that's how it was. It was lovely. It was just really a lovely flow.
I'm a believer that the right people come to these, you know, that they're meant to meet each other, etc. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
we did we did all the other achievements online, but the last one we ended up doing in the woods at the back of me, which was lovely.
Oh,
It
awesome.
was really
brilliant. Oh, extra special then. Yeah, doing it in nature, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was nice. It was meant to be again, you know. It wasn't, and it just, the synchronicities of course were quite hilarious, with Easter as well. That was really driven, because we ended up doing it on Good Friday, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
Not planned.
No, it's just how it planned out.
Not that good.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah.
All right then, Michelle, is there anything
going
you
back
want
to
to share?
talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Don't even know if Michelle's still there or not.
Sorry, I am. I'm just, Pip's next to me with her iPad blasting.
No.
So no, I've just been like dipping in and out of things that have been coming online. I did the I've been doing things on catch up a few times. I did the cacao ceremony that Andrea did, which was really cool. That was really interesting. I wish I could have done it live, but I couldn't make the time. So yeah, I've just been dipping in and out of a few of Leanne's sessions, and then I've actually just done. I've been doing a online laughter yoga course, which has been really, really, really interesting. Actually, that the health, the emotional and the mental benefits of just laughing. I've actually really enjoyed that. So at some point, once I completely finish that, the last part's supposed to be done in person, so we've kind of got to wait. But yeah, maybe I'll do an online laughter yoga session with everybody.
Well,
So
that'd be brilliant,
yeah.
And maybe you could do that at the hub sometime, Michelle.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that'll be something I'll do at some point. And Kat, and I think Liz has got, I've got to get out and I haven't used my Nordic walking poles yet, so I got to get out and start practicing Nordic walking.
Have you been watching the YouTube videos on how to do that?
Oh, I signed up to a little course and I've watched a bit of it, but I just need to get out and practice. I've been really resistant to it just because I feel like a bit of an idiot. And
well, you could try up and down Chule Lane, couldn't you?
Oh, could you imagine? Yeah.
I know Chule Lane really well. It's nice and steep. Is that, isn't it?
Yeah, I live right there off Chule Lane. So.
I'll meet you anytime you like, Michelle. You know, no worries. We can get out at 6 at a time. Me and my dad's been going out with children. There were 6 of us yesterday. And you just get over the walking poles thing straight away. As soon as you get the rhythm, you're out there. It makes you feel like you can walk faster. So it just you just don't even worry about what you look like. You just go for it.
Yeah.
We could meet up and go to reservoir near you, couldn't we, Kat?
Yeah.
Scamenden.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, I'm waiting for Liz anyway, because we're going to be, hopefully we'll set up some kind of a group together, won't we? We'll sort something out. And my dad said he's quite happy to come over and show everybody how to do that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, Kathy, I know that you've got some exciting news you wanted to share as well.
I do, but could I just go back to sort of like 12 months ago? I did some training online, which was fantastic, and it was to do with the elementals and elemental healing with a lady called Callista. She's well known on. Sorry?
She's fab. I love her work.
Yeah, so I did, I think it was about 12 weeks training, working with all the individuals, the fairies, the gnomes, the, you know, your tree dryads, and being part of nature. So it was absolutely fantastic doing the training. We got attunements to work with your own guides, whether the mermaids, whether the dragons, or whether all the kit and caboodle of them all. Fantastic. So leading on from that, I've been quite busy offline, if you understand what I mean. It's just I've been taking time out for myself to do training for myself and to actually enhance all the healing modalities, all the training I've done all over the years to build it up and build it up. And like Rob and Liz already know, and anybody else that knows me, I was attuned to Atlantean healing in 2015. And I've been doing as a healing modality and soul retrieval as well, which is a biggie. And I've always wanted to be able to take it one big step further, is actually to training it, to actually train other people in the Atlantean ways. And it actually came out of the blue, basically. I've been wanting to do this. A lady called Diana Cooper, as you already know. I followed her since 2000. And I knew back then about your 12 chakras because she was doing it back then. And as time's gone on, it's been one of my biggest dreams to actually be part of Diana Cooper's school and to actually take it out to people, the training, and because I wanted to teach Atlantean healing, all about Atlantis, especially as now we're going through the golden era, and because we are moving from a 3D dimension to the 5th dimension. So as we already know, some people are working from 3D, which is the lower vibration, which is going on out there. And then there's the rest of us, because I think, Rob, you touched on it about that the way I split, that some of us are moving or staying into the 3rd dimension, and a lot of us are moving through the 4th and to the 5th dimensions, and we're holding the light for everyone. And that's the category I fall into. I don't like to give labels to things, but that's where I'm coming from the light, sharing the light, keeping the vibration high, and to help those that are struggling. I mean, a lot of people that have come to me, I've done a lot of distant healing and things like that, that it's really affecting them. That includes my close family as well. So when the opportunity came up to actually take what I wanted to do further and to bring in all the elementals that I work with, all the archangels, the Metatron, because I'm an angelic Reiki teacher as well, bringing them all in and to be able to be part of Diana Cooper's school. Well, what can I say? When the opportunity came, I thought, I'm doing this. This is what it's meant to be. I follow what my guides tell me. And I know if I don't listen, then I come unstuck. I didn't listen to my body properly. I was told not to have the Slim Fast because before we all went into lockdown the first time, I was on Slim Fast and I lost a stone in weight. But that actually triggered off the situation with the gallbladder. Okay. So I am listening to my body now, as well as listening to my guides. So I became qualified as a teacher with the Diana Cooper School of White Light on the 18th of March. I had a beautiful teacher, and I've been drawn to her for quite a few years actually, but the opportunity did not arise. I thought, well, obstacles will come in it, I can't afford it, but the time was right for me to do it, especially as we're going through this period in time, because a lot of people do need healing on different levels, through the DNA, through the golden children and everything. So yeah, I qualified with this beautiful school. My details are still to be put on their website yet. And I'm pushing them, and I've got to update all my applications, my Facebook, my website, and everything that goes with it. And then I've already got one workshop in its bare bones, it's mountain time. One of them that I mentioned, if anybody's following me on Facebook, is that I always knew I had a past life in Atlantis. And actually during this training, I know who I was now.
Wow, okay.
I wish I could say, oh, I was either Thoth or Priestess Isis, but I wasn't. But I was regarded as important because I was a confidant of Priestess Isis. So, and I was one of these, I could actually see the future back then. So I knew what was coming. So that's how I know what's happening now. The similar sort of things are happening now with what's going on out there, as it was back then. And one of the reasons why it fell. I was there at that point when Atlantis fell. So this is going to be one of the workshops where we can actually take you and find out if you've got that feeling that you were a past life in Atlantis, can take you there and we can find out who you were. As I said, I already knew what I did back then and who I was. I even knew my name back then, which was fantastic. It's sort of, woof, it feels fantastic, to be perfectly honest. I've always known that I had the connection with the Egyptians as well. And of course, Priestess Isis was a goddess. And that's when all Thoth, Horus, I'm working with Meerkat now. Sekhmet, sorry. I talk to them as well. I have to apologise. With Sekhmet, because she's with me as well. I'm working strongly with her. And those that do know me, I do work with the elementals, unicorns, dragons, Archangel Metatron, all the archangels, the ascended masters. And basically what they wanted me to do now is to set up these workshops through the school, but also as a sideline as well, you know, because there'll be elements that are not part of the school, but what my guides want me to do. And I want to attune people to Priestess Isis. She is just one that they want me to attune you to. I've been bringing in a lot of attunements for other areas to archangels, and also to use telepathy. I have a friend that has a golden child. I was there when she was pregnant. There is another lady that I do know, and she's not on today, but there's one that's in Australia, and I actually spoke with her the other day, and we contacted telepathically, and it was absolutely fantastic. And that's how we used to communicate in Atlantis. So it's bringing back the old skills for people, you know, and within the workshops, there's going to be ceremonies, there's going to be rituals, there's going to be attunements, it's going to be all sorts. And I know that Joe actually brought up about the DNA. Wow, that is a biggie. I did a distant angelic Reiki treatment for somebody who's had I call it the jab. I actually saw inside the actual what was injected into her. Now, this is where I've been asked by my guys to actually take this step forward with individuals. You know, as far as the DNA is concerned, there's going to be sound. There's going to be all sorts that I've been bringing into the actual workshops. As you can tell, I'm passionate about it. I always am. The people that do know me, that I am passionate about what I do. And I love to pass on what learnings I've got and experiences that I've got as well.
I think this is a new level of passionate, Kathy. It's good to see, actually. This really, you're really glowing with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the upstairs therapy room as well, so I've got all my crystals and all my ornaments all the way around me as well. So, and I send somebody's with me as well. So it's And one of the things that you've probably been doing online as well is 12 chakras. I did that. Sorry, this is an ego coming through. Sorry, we don't work from the ego, we work from the heart. But it's something that I have done in 2017, live to everybody, a mind, body, spirit. But now I have a new group of angels and guides, Metatron, to work with me to actually help you activate your 12 chakras using sound, using colour, and everything else that goes with it. So that being the workshops as well. Plus, there's a lot more stuff that I'll be bringing to the actual workshops. The one thing I do need to get myself sorted out with, and that's setting up online. I like this, I have no problem joining groups like this. It's me to actually set up a Zoom with everyone. I've been doing smaller versions with a smaller group, but if it gets bigger, this is where I'm going to struggle, but I will get it sorted. And also, if I've got a big group, I'd love to be able to do them at the Hangout, the Kickstart hub. I'd love to be able to do it back there.
Yeah, definitely.
When it's a big group.
Yeah.
So, you know, what else can I add to that?
No, it's brilliant, Kathy. Looking forward to these materializing or manifesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And you are glowing, Kathy. You really are.
Am I?
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Wow. That actually confirms that I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and it's something. When you become a teacher, like you'll find yourself, it's that the feeling that you get about transferring your knowledge, transferring your experience to others, it's just a blessing.
It's a joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's such. This is where I'm moving more towards teaching more. I mean, yes, I'm still doing the Monica, and I need to talk to you separate about that.
Yeah.
I'm still doing the Monica. I'm still doing the Reiki training. I'm still doing other things, but I'm more into there's something else coming along, but that is under wraps at this moment in time. But I'm moving away from more of the healing side of things. I'm not saying I'm not doing them anymore. I'm still going to do my Hatma. I'm still going to do the Atlantean healing and the soul retrieval. My crystal healing. Oh, well, that was my first love. That was my first training I did. But as far as like the massages are concerned, they're going to take background now. So yeah, it's more teaching where I'm going, especially with the beautiful Diana Cooper. She's been someone I've admired for a lot of years, and I just feel fantastic to be able to be part of an international school, the School of White Light. Yes.
Yeah. That's lovely. Yeah. Yeah, you really deserve that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Kathy.
I mean, do you have anybody have any questions or anything? Is there anything you'd like to know about as far as Atlantis for the workshops that I can actually do?
It's not mainly Atlantis, but I mean, something did sort of pop in me as when you were talking a little bit about sound, because I've got an affinity with sound. I work with Norse runes, and basically I was attracted to them because of sound. But it's about being able to communicate underwater that came in. So you're on about being, the telepathy. Well, that's why, because you can't speak underwater, can you? So it's like it's all connected. And have you ever worked with Bas? Because I have an affinity with Bas. He's the Egyptian deity.
He has approached me at times, and he's been there. Like when I've been doing some meditations to go to Poseidon temples or the other temples, they come in. it gives me information when required. And the thing is that I'm not constantly working with him, but he'll pop in and just give me a message ad hoc or whatever I need to know. But one thing I've also found by doing this as well, I've got another 2 guides that have joined me on a one-to-one basis mainly, and they actually go further back past Atlantean, past Lemur, and I was in Lemuria as well. So I'm working with a small group with that side of it as well, and to Mew and past Mew as well. So I found out so many past lives that really I knew who I was, I know my name, what I did, and everything like that. So it's just fantastic to be able to work telepathically, like you say. I mean, the thing is well, you're a mermaid underwater. You know, these sort of things are not just through a meditation, but it's how we can actually identify, were you a mermaid? Were you in Atlantis as a mermaid? You know, these sort of things that come forward and find out the information.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's exciting.
What's going through my mind is we're never going to make any money to pay the bills at the hub. This will be coming to everybody's courses.
We're just coming to you to do everything
at your place.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cathay.
Be able to get some money back through me hiring your rooms.
Yeah, but not if we're doing your courses, we won't.
You'll have to take turns.
Definitely, yeah. That transitions nicely into some news that we've got about the hub itself. I don't know if you wanted to.
I'll let you.
Let me. So it's kind of been on the cards for some time that the flat that's adjacent to the hub itself, the main space, has been offered to us so that we can expand the hub into the flat as well. I would say it's not going to be far off doubling the sort of space that we've got currently. It's not quite that much. But basically, because of the work that we've done in the hub itself, they've offered us this for free for 12 months. We'll then have to start paying rent on it, obviously. But I think it's been an incredibly generous gesture on their part to do that. They're lovely people, are the landlords. So we've said yes. We've not signed on the dotted line yet, but we aim to have it opened up at least. It may be a bit of a tall order to have it done by the 12th of April, but it's going to happen as quickly as we can make it happen. And it gives us another teaching space. It also means that we can get people to go down to the treatment rooms without having to sort of disturb a class that might be in progress in the main room. I think the main room is going to become much more of a sort of movement focused area. So things like Tai Chi and Pilates and things like that. And we'll be able to take out all of the furniture from that space to maximize the floor space so that we can get more people in there. And then the adjacent flat will become the teaching area for things like Holy Fire, etc. And maybe some of your new Diana Cooper stuff, Kathy.
Yeah.
Or equally, there's still the fold-up chairs that can go in the bigger
space. Yeah, if we can have bigger groups in the bigger room. We've got in the flat, there's a proper kitchenette or a proper kitchen there. There's a proper bathroom. So there's some nice features to that. But it's a nice quirky space. So yeah, we're looking forward to integrating it into what we've already got and starting to make use of that. And yeah, it increases the capacity of what we can do as well at the hub. Gives us more flexibility. We can have more things on at the same time in the space. So exciting, really. It's, we met with the landlady and had a look around the flat. It was Thursday, wasn't it? Yeah, Thursday. And we were getting very excited about it. So Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Anything you want to
Does
add?
it need a lot doing, Rob, or is it literally ready to rock and roll?
Thankfully, that doesn't need an awful lot doing. The biggest thing is opening the doorway between the two spaces. Don't know
Yeah,
at this
sure.
point exactly how much work's involved in doing that. That it leads into what is a bedroom just now, but it doesn't look like a bedroom. You wouldn't know it was a bedroom if you know what I mean. It had a bed in it basically, and that'll become a little shop area for us selling crystals and little mind, body, spirit type stuff that you'd see at a mind, body, spirit fair, that kind of, you know. So again, a nice addition to that. Liz has had this lovely vision. I don't know how long it'll take us to make this happen. That the big doorway that you go through into this new space, we want to get one of our artists to paint a picture of a geode, you know, so that you're walking into the geode to go through to the other space. So I think that's a lovely sort of creative idea that Liz has had. So we need to ask a few people and see who's willing to do that for us. Other than that, I think it's just a case of moving the furniture in there, moving things out of there that we don't need. There was and then basically there's not an awful lot for us to do there. Yeah. So I've got some plans for what I'd like to do, but we don't have the funds to do it just now. So that there's a space in in the new area that we could make into a sauna. But that'd be a few £1,000s for me to do that myself. I just don't have the funds just now.
Yeah, it's one of those, but as well, with it being free for 12 months, you could always just see, can't you, and see how that goes for a little while before you put a lot, because you put so much money into your, you know, your amazing space. It's trying to get some back now.
Yeah, and then this is off record. Shouldn't be recording this one, but quite a few people know this already. Actually, that we've got this vision of running a retreat. We've been given quite a lot of guidance in visions, etc., around this. We believe it's going to be in Scotland. The latest guidance that we've had on that is it'll be somewhere above Edinburgh. We can visualize what this place looks like, etc. So for me, you know, what we've got now is kind of a temporary thing, but I'm not treating it like a temporary thing, you know. I know that we'll never get the money back out of it that we've put into it, but that's not my primary concern. What I would love to do is be able to hand that over to somebody in time that can, you know, that'll make use of it and be able to continue what we've done, and we're continuing what Leanne had started, really just expanding it, and we can start to see it now starting to sort of, we're getting people who want to be there as practitioners, you know, and the more people we can get like that, and then once obviously we get out of lockdown, we can get the groups practicing again. I know people like Barbara love the Tai Chi class. We want to have a load of other things running there anyway, basically. So watch this space.
And I definitely want to, you know, come and do a couple of the reflexology or massage there as well, the courses. It's such a great spot, and we need to get Liz signed off.
Yes. Yeah.
I've been working on his feet.
Yay! You'll have the best feet ever, Rob, won't you now?
Yes, should have, yeah. There's a lot to heal with just now. I've tried my little tumble when I was walking last week. I've sprained my left knee, which I'm not at all happy about, because that's not properly getting in the way of doing work on the new bits of the hub, etc. But fingers crossed.
Just take your time. You've got to take your time with it, because you know it needs to heal, doesn't it? Unfortunately.
Well, foolishly, I went out and did what I thought was very little yesterday, but ended up really undoing the healing I've done over the last few days, and so I just need to be kind to myself, I think.
Definitely. Oh, well, that's brilliant news. That's great.
So you're the first group of people that would mention this to publicly. We need to put something into the groups, etc., letting people know that it's happening. But yeah, very, very exciting. And we'll end up having another launch day, you know, because we had our launch day, it was 6 weeks before lockdown kicked in. You know, it's so it'd be nice to have another launch day, and this time, bugger it, we're going to really go for it this time. I think we were exhausted last time round because of everything that we,
yeah.
6 months or more worth of work at the hub to get it ready, and then we were just shattered off the back of that. But I think we're in a.
It fell on a funny time as well, didn't it? Was it snowing as well, or some random thing? It wasn't the greatest weather.
No, the day itself was really good for the launch event.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the weather, but we got so many people through the door, and it was a lovely vibe and everything.
It was a good day, was the opening, was there.
So we want to do something like that again, Kathy. So you'd be very welcome to. And we'll have better space for being able to do the. So anyway, right, okay. Now, enough of that now. So it's been lovely to see everyone. Barbara, did you want to share anything?
No, just how fantastic that it's been. I've really enjoyed it, you know, and it's really good what's happening at the hub, you know, and really happy. And I'm dying to be back again.
Yeah, it'd be lovely to see you.
Tai Chi as well, hopefully.
Yeah. Wayne's chomping at the bit, isn't he?
He is,
Yeah. So he'll let us know when he, you know, when he.
Oh, definitely, yes. Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, I want to do your Tai Chi. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be more space for it as well when we reopen.
I'd love, Kat, for you to come and do some cacao ceremonies.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that'd be fabulous.
I'll come over for that for sure.
Yeah, Sharon, definitely we'll be able to do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you've got I was thinking when you said you've got a kitchen in that flat as well, and I did actually think, you know, what came through my mind when you said you've got a bedroom in there. I know you're changing it into a shop, but you could do little retreats down there if you think about it, you know, because you live, Greetland's a beautiful area.
Yes.
You know, you've got lots of things to show people that want to come up, perhaps just for maybe a holistic weekend.
Okay.
You know, I just think that's a really good idea because you've got so many different holistic practitioners that you've got access to. You could create packages.
Liz has been thinking about this and mulling it over for quite some time, haven't you, love?
It has. I was going to do one.
Good idea.
Aaron was going to come and contribute towards that one, but I something's held me back from doing them online. It's just not felt the right thing, but once people can come together in groups and things, there will be some day retreats or even 2-day retreats, and those people to local hotels.
We could have some laughter yoga there now as well.
Yes, laughter yoga.
I'm feeling the same a little bit about the online stuff. I could have got some courses in March, and I felt exactly the same, Liz. It's really difficult holding space all the time online. So I just went with, you know, the few Holy Fire Masters that just kind of like, that just evolved. But yeah, it's really tough. I totally feel you with that. I think we all just need to get back into person, don't we? Even for a little while, and then we might come back out. But I think it's that thing of being forced. That's the bit that's not sitting right well anymore. We're done with that now.
Yeah. And then again, leading on from that, actually combining the two things together. One of the things that I want to do at the hub, and maybe this is the reason why it's not happened yet, is that we want to combine in person and online, so we can set up in this new space. We'll be able to set it up so that we can do both, you know, so anybody teaching in that space can be teaching to both people in presence and also people are online as well. So I want to get a big screen that we can use, cameras and microphones and all that kind of stuff. That'll be probably into a different comfort zone, Kat.
I'm all for it now. I feel really confident now. I'm getting there, so that'd be great. That'd be great, yeah.
It would be great, and as well, like, because we are obviously lowering our people that we can get in person, and that's the only great thing about online, isn't it? As we've said, we've branched out, but it's getting the balance, because you want that energy, don't you, of people in the room too. So yeah, that's a great idea, the big screen.
Yeah, I've seen a big screen. Yeah, anyway, right, again, enough of that, Rob. So many ideas. The problem is I've got so much in my head, I don't know what to do next. That's
Get it written down.
yeah.
So yeah, we will have
Yeah.
when people can come together again, we will organise a launch event. But I was chatting to, who was I chatting to? Oh, it was Deborah Lum, and she said, why don't we have pop-up holistic wellbeing days? So they will sporadic, and because that space in the room will be bigger, we've got the tables that we can put in there for people to be at and share there.
So we can have a number of tables in the main room.
Yeah.
We could have a few tables in the new space. We got you know, maybe a couple of tables in each of the treatment rooms. Yeah.
Great idea. I'll definitely be up for that. Please let me know.
Yeah.
And Kat is doing some as well.
Definitely. Yeah. Let's get on with it.
Yeah. Right then. So just to wish you all an incredible rest of the bank holiday weekend. And yeah, it's lovely. The blue, complete wall-to-wall blue skies just now, as far as I can see.
Amazing.
Yeah. So lovely to see everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.